Well, hey, Paul.
Good to see you again, John.
Good to see you too after the long weekend. Sermon Afterthoughts. We're here in the office recording. We had Family Day weekend and Valentine's Day on the same weekend. And how'd you guys celebrate Family Day weekend? Anything special?
Nothing special for us. Of course, with all this pandemic and everything. Contacted the kids during the weekend down in Seattle and here in town. And I got a sick grand dog. He got into some grapes or something, and it's affected his liver, so he has to be in the hospital for observation for 3 days. And so that's the only serious family concern right now. So which is pretty good. And the snow, of course, kept us in. Read a couple of good books, and had just a relaxing time. And of course, being shared with my love of the last 48 years, which is always a joy to do, no pun intended, and had just a good time, and a privilege to be able to have that day fall into my preaching schedule, and to talk about one of my favorite topics, that of love, and God's greatest gift to us is through His love, and is His love, that we have. That you could get into the whole aspect of spiritual giftings and spiritual fruit. And of course, in that passage in Galatians, it talks about the gifts, the fruit of the Spirit, and it says love, and most accurate translations then put in a colon, their love, and then the aspects of love, which are joy, peace, patience, long suffering, and all that. So that's the with such a topic, I just sort of had to put the brakes on myself to keep it as short as I could.
There's a lot there packed in that passage, and I tell you, we as a family really appreciated, kids too, seeing the wedding photos.
Good.
Many people in our church, and
that was great participation by so many folks.
Yeah.
I just thought it might be nice to do, and maybe we'll get a dozen or so. But man, there are over 30.
Yeah, it was great. We loved sitting there and looking at people's photos and being reminded of our vows, and how we're not the only ones that have made this vow, but there's so many other people in our church who like marriage and that covenant and that kind of example of love, just put in your face over and over, one after another. It was really touching, actually. So good idea.
Joy and I took some training in marriage enrichment, leading marriage enrichments, and one of the questions that we learned to ask was he had a group there for a seminar, and to ask people how long they'd been married, and then do the total of all those years. And it usually came to about 300 to 400 years within a typical seminar, and say, look at all the wisdom we've got to learn from here today, and then going on and making our attempts at trying to increase people's awareness of and appreciation for the love that they share. But to do that with a congregation is one of the great privileges of being a pastor, and to just keep on pressing towards love, and allowing the Spirit of God, that Spirit of love, to dwell within us and show Himself through us.
Amen. Thanks for that reminder. It was a good message yesterday, and a good service too, from our kids' corner to our worship team. And
the harmony that those ladies had yesterday, it was so blessing. And it was an old hymn from my background, and that they used. They were first subjected to it on Thursday night, and
can you pull this off by Sunday?
And they did. It was fabulous, and they poured their hearts into it too. Let me renew my covenant with thee.
It was great. It was good. So we have the AGM That's something that's coming
tomorrow
up
night.
Tomorrow night on Zoom. So you need to register for that if you're not registered. I know there's already, as of at least on Monday, I think Garth said there were 67 already registered.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
make sure that you get on with that, and lots of things to be presented and discussed, and then voting instructions to follow.
Yeah, and we're got a it's a not going to be a long agenda, but some very important aspects for us to look at in this crucial time, really, in our church's history.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need your support, your input, and look forward to talking with you and seeing your faces via Zoom tomorrow night.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's happening, and then I'm preaching on Sunday.
Yeah.
From sort of a part 2 or a follow-up from the famous passage of 2 Corinthians 5. The old is gone, the new has come. Paul's been given a message a ministry of reconciliation, and so kind of diving into what we're calling open heart surgery is the
So
title.
I have threatened, because almost 20 years ago I had open heart surgery. I was showing my scar, but John has talked me out of this.
Yeah,
and I know it would be a premier event, but we'll have to skip it, folks.
we should skip.
Yes.
So we'll be speaking about sort of just having our hearts open to one another and to the Lord. So yeah.
So really a good week to look forward to and to be part of. And upcoming, we spent our staff meeting time and basically looking at the Easter weekend and what's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up quickly.
Yeah, so we'll be able to announce a few surprises for you coming up, a few opportunities for you to perhaps make this Easter one of your more meaningful Easters. So look ahead to that.
All right.
Okay, so remember, until then,
You are loved. Goodbye, everyone.